right, we're at 64 degrees Fahrenheit, 8,686 miles on the odometer. It's Friday, January 17th, 2025. So I turned on the David Lynch masterclass, and it's really good. I got through a few of the little scenes on it. It's like a 2.5 hour, maybe 2 hour, 40 minutes or so. And I don't know when he did it, but it may have been the last big thing that he did, other than, well, what did Jack do was a short that made it on Netflix, and then there was, of course, Twin Peaks Return, which I do have. I have that one. But he talks a lot about catching ideas and kind of, you know, finding a way, as he always does with his hands, of implementing the ideas onto page or onto, you know, basically like a script, and then taking that and putting it on the screen. It's a really good masterclass. It's a lot of philosophy, and it's really good. He also brings in the emotional memory, you know, the memory being almost like emotional recall, really. You know, it's like some of his stuff, like from Blue Velvet, some of that was like some of his memories that you were kind of looking at that he filtered in for that movie, which could happen and work, which may have been the reason why Blue Velvet was kind of honored as his big art piece. It's kind of honored as his triumphant piece. But then again, you know, Eraserhead's really good too, even though Eraserhead's a whole different world that he created. He talks about how lucky he was to get to go to AFI and live in a 50-room mansion in the middle of Beverly Hills, like a real expensive area of Beverly Hills, for really nothing. He said $0.05 a week. And he didn't have anything there too. There's a lot of rumors and stuff about he had odd jobs, like working for various different restaurants and throwing papers. He threw like a newspaper. He talks about in the masterclass that he this is on YouTube for free right now. Simple Tom has it. Talks about throwing papers. No. He talks about when he was in Philadelphia, he delivered prescriptions for a pharmacy in a red and white Jeep. So it's kind of how he talks. He thinks in color and memory, like specific memories. And I started to look at my script. Really, it's a book. Shepherds of Alaska is a book. It's Rib, Dog Night Out, Shepherds of Alaska. And I started kind of getting more brave with it. And I also did like a research thing on it because I'm taking time between the chapters. He also talked about the writer of Wild at Heart, who did the same thing. Well, he didn't have extensive chapters. I don't know how long it took him to write it, but he also talked about how letting the ideas mature and letting the ideas stew is what I call it, stewing. Like let the ideas, you know, marinate. And I think there's a scene where Blackbird, it's the character's name is Joseph Blackbird, who he has a problem with his son. His son gets involved with his moonshine. So probably Joseph Blackbird was a person that made moonshine. That there's coils involved with it, but I didn't find in my research, because I fact checked some of my stuff. There's not a lot of tubing, but there is a cold water tube. So I can leave it with the water hose, or it's like basically an empty hose of them, you know, rescuing him, which is Shep under avalanche. Or I can be brave enough and they actually use some of the coil for getting oxygen down to him, because he's like 70 feet under snow. At first, he's only about 20 feet under snow, but it gets worse. Anyway, this is the next scene that I'm going to be working on. So it'll all be posted to the appropriate area on my FB. All right, first 1.7, it'll take 4 minutes. We will arrive at 5:38. And it's 16.5. Not a whole lot yesterday. 2.7, 620.
Really had a problem.
All the way for Pennsylvania. All right, 2.69 minutes. We will arrive at 6:53. All right, 2.7. We'll get there at 7:54, 9 minutes. 750 feet or 750 feet. 1 minute. So I have put together basically a sequence of basically an outline for a movie about the events that took place during the making of Eraserhead, starring pretty much, well, the lead character would be David Lynch. It's around David Lynch making Eraserhead and the friends that helped him make it. I had original titles like Spike Baby, Baby Spike, the making of Baby Spike, or something like that, the father of Spike. And then I thought, well, why not In Heaven? You know, which would be a good title. But it starts off in Philadelphia with him seeing the garden painting at night, or the garden painting of night, or so, a garden in the night or whatever. And he sees the painting move, and then the wind blows, and that's the first thing. Then the next one is the confrontation with his family and him having to quit, and then it goes from there all the way to AFI, and then him drinking from one of those syrup things. Just weird stuff, like the driver making weird noise. There was this thing where the driver picked up somebody and started kind of making a high pitch, talking in a high pitch, driving too fast. Just all this weird stuff going on. All the way to the opening with Mel Brooks, for the opening of Eraserhead. It does jump in the future for a moment to the fires in LA. And it also jumps, because he had to be evacuated, it jumps to the murder of Peter Ivers and the murder of Jack Nance, who was the star of Eraserhead. It's a pretty big project. I'm going to put it on hold right now because I'm finishing up Rib. Rib is a book, but this would be probably an original, well, not original screenplay, but it'd be an adaptation, maybe screenplay, a biopic screenplay. It'd be pretty cool. All right, the idea behind it is, for one thing, is to use the In Heaven song by Peter Ivers, that might be tough, but we could do a reproduction of it, and also to reproduce the scenes that he did in Eraserhead, just like they kind of do with music biopics, only you'd be reproducing what the filmmaker does. And another thing that's cool about it is it would get into the Lynchian style, showing him in Philadelphia, going back to his apartment with the cracked window, where they went inside and got out some of his stuff, whatever, but his paintings would be in there. Also, the whole incident with the garden painting at night would be very Lynchian. 0.7, 1025. That moon. There's a trace of a moon. Looks like on an Amber Alert, a Hyundai Elantra 2016. The license plate has the letters VDK in it. Patrick is the kid's name, Keelian or something like that. Someone named, I have to get the name of the suspect, is like Jeffrey Harris, something like that. Last seen in Aranis Pass. I don't know where that is. Aranis Pass. Oh, look, Velvet Underground. Pretty cool that they painted that there. It's an Andy Warhol thing. They used it on the Velvet Underground album called Velvet Underground and Nico. Anyway, yeah, the Amber Alert just went through. Hop in. Oh, see it right there. They're not a delivery. We're gonna head back to see Linda and Kitty. Got some creamy jalapeno taquitos. On late at night, I would only get those and not the beef ones. Here we go with today's kitty. One kitty, 9 lives. Each life has a number. Numbers 1 through 9. Swirl the camera. Pick a cat food. Today's kitty will be having Fancy Feast tuna in gravy, grilled. Everything scripted. All right. Here we go. Today's kitty is tuna. What will tomorrow's kitty be? In heaven, everything's all right. In heaven, everything's all right. In heaven, everything's all right. One more time, but this time let's get it right. In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. You got your good things, and I've got mine. In heaven, everything's fine. In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. You got your good things, and you've got mine.